This school hasn't had a female teacher in 8 years, but today, 2 female teachers came to apply. One of them had a great figure. The principal was quite satisfied after seeing her. However, the dean didn't think it was a good idea, because this school had many troublemakers. Having a female teacher here could lead to these bad students doing bad things to her. Noticing the outfits of the 2 women, the dean suggested Shizuka wear sportswear, and even recommended she wear running shoes, so she could quickly escape if necessary. Not only that, he also suggested they move quickly. Currently, the teachers work in groups of 6, but the 2 female teachers didn't listen to his advice. They both went to their classes. At the same time, the students in class 1 heard rumors. Now that a female teacher was coming to teach, they were preparing to give her a warm welcome. But to their disappointment, the well-built female teacher was assigned to class 2. The students didn't like the new teacher, Kumiko. Some even climbed onto their desks to intimidate her. But Kumiko wasn't afraid. However, Kumiko thought carefully and pretended to be scared. The students thought Kumiko was slow to react, so they looked down on her even more. Kumiko didn't get angry. To better understand her students, she handed each of them a piece of paper and asked them to write their names and concerns. But the students didn't want to listen to Kumiko. While Kumiko was writing on the blackboard, the students crumpled the paper and threw it at her. One student even took a marble out of his pocket and threw it at Kumiko. But Kumiko quickly caught the marble and gave those students a fierce glare, although she quickly resumed her frightened expression. This look caught the attention of the class leader, Shin. After school, the 2 female teachers discussed their students. But soon, the dean drove over to remind them to leave quickly. He warned them that after school was the most dangerous time. The 2 teachers followed his advice and left in a hurry. When Kumiko got home, a group of fierce-looking men came out of her house. They all lowered their posture and welcomed Kumiko back. It turned out, Kumiko was actually the daughter of a mafia boss. When they learned the students had been disrespectful to Kumiko, they became furious. Some just wanted to warn the students, but others even made arrangements for what would happen next. At this point, an elderly man appeared. He was the leader of the mafia and Kumiko's grandfather, but due to poor health, Kumiko was now acting as the leader of the gang. However, Kumiko didn't mind this role. She wanted to balance being a good teacher, while also handling matters within the gang. The next day in class, Kumiko noticed a boy standing in the hallway, lost in thought. She asked him what had happened, but he wouldn't say. After class, Kumiko learned from other teachers that a recently expelled troublemaker had returned and was forming a gang. Anyone who didn't obey would get beaten up. This made Kumiko immediately remember something. She realized what was going on and rushed to check. Sure enough, the boy was being surrounded and beaten by several people. At that moment, Kumiko pretended to be carrying something and passed by. A green-haired boy came over and grabbed Kumiko. The bullied boy was knocked unconscious. Kumiko kicked him to make sure he was out cold. Just as Kumiko was about to take action, he suddenly woke up. But Kumiko had no choice but to act. She used an elbow strike and knocked the boy out cold. Now, with no more worries, she could easily deal with the others. Kumiko's martial arts skills were so powerful, she easily knocked the others down. She told them not to bully her students anymore. When the knocked out boy woke up, his friends arrived, but when they came, he was the only one left, along with the bad students lying in the alley. Shin immediately guessed that Kumiko was behind this, but the others didn't believe it at all. Just then, Kumiko's dog walked by. They all thought the dog had done it, believing the dog had just appeared and saved its owner. But Shin was obviously not that naive. How could a dog pile up people like that?